I'm Owen Bigland. This is the Inside Edge video blog. Okay, this is going to be about the 5th video I've done on this in the last 6 months. I know, guys, I've been pounding this non-stop here for 6 months about how condo development in Vancouver and surrounding areas, downtown, Kitts, Mount Pleasant, there wasn't much being built anyways. It is all ground to a complete stop. Any development that was going to be on the docket here coming on in the next 2 or 3 years, as I'm going to show you guys, has gone from market condominium, condos, stratified, has been now changed to market rental buildings only. And the repercussions that this is going to have 5 and 10 years down the road. You'll never hear this talked about in the mainstream media. They're oblivious to what I'm going to tell you guys here and what I've been telling you guys here for the last 6, 7 months now. But 8 to 10 years from now, that's when they'll finally talk about this, when the repercussions are going to be felt. And it's going to be a headline in the Vancouver Sun, if the Vancouver Sun's even around then. I doubt it. They'll be long. They're already on a respirator now. But online, you're going to see the headline something like this. Downtown Vancouver, multimillionaires and struggling renters. That's all that downtown Vancouver is going to be. And they're going to be right. Homeowners, which are going to be millionaires and multimillionaires that own their own condo downtown or townhome. And we can tie this into Kitsilano and Fairview and Mount Pleasant and Olympic Village as well. Or you're either that, or you are a renter who is struggling to make ends meet. Because by that time, you're paying $4,000 for a basic 1 bed. You're paying $3,000 right now. And that's going to be the headline. Where did it all go wrong? This is where it all went wrong. What I've been telling you guys here for the better part of a year, this is probably number 6 video on this. How they are not, for right now, there is no condo development, no stratified condos coming online here. It's all shifted to rental. It is unprecedented. There will be a few luxury buildings still in the works here, a couple in Cole Harbour, but pretty much all the ones in the West End that I'm going to talk about here, I know of 7 buildings now. This is number 7. That were stratified condo have now been converted to market rental buildings. So there's 1,000 units just in my neighborhood alone that went from condo to rental. Now again, as I've been saying, nothing wrong with building more rental. We need more housing in the city. Go back and watch the 5 other blogs I've been pounding home on this topic because it's really important. But it shouldn't come at a cost of building stratified condo, and that's what's happening right now. We should be building both, more condos and more rental stock. But instead, we're going to build rental stock at the cost of building any new condos. And the repercussions on that, I've gone through it in my other blogs, watch them, is going to be the value of the current condo stock that's there is going to go nothing but up. Once interest rates start to come down in another couple of years, watch out, folks. You're going to see a massive spike. You can still buy stuff in Vancouver right now for $850, $900, $1,000 a square foot, no problem. Concrete, wood frame. Younger buildings, maybe 10, 12 years old, $1,100, $1,150 a square foot. Mind you, these stratified condos that have all been canceled, as I pointed out in my last videos, they were going to be luxury condos. They weren't going to be affordable for most people. They were going to be at $1,800 a square foot up to $3,000 a square foot. But the point I want to make is that those were going to be, the buyers on those were going to be people that are currently living in a 1,000 square foot or 1,100 square foot unit. And they've been in there for 10 years, had $500,000 of equity built up, saved their money, and were going to move up into a higher end condo. Now there's nothing to move up to, or very little in the next 5 to 10 years. So they are going to sit put. They're going to stay put in that 1,100 square foot condo, which is only going to spike up as time goes on here. There's 2 camps here. I've told you guys before. If you want to live in Vancouver and you're going to stay here for a while, as you guys know, you want to be an owner, not a renter. Nothing wrong with these purposely built rentals, although they don't have a scratch on renting something from a mom and pop investor like me. I've done lots of vlogs on these rental-only buildings, whether it's a 50, 60-year-old dilapidated wood frame in the West End, or even some of these newer rental-only buildings that have come online recently in the West End or around Rogers Arena, and some of the stuff that's going to be built eventually by this Indian land here over by the Burrard Street Bridge. But these are a circus inside, 100% rental, constant moving, illegal Airbnbs, far better off to rent a 1-bedroom or a 2-bed in a stratified condo from an individual landlord like myself. But as I said, this is socialism 101. They're building the rentals, which is great, but they're going to keep you in that renter treadmill. They're like enablers, and it's coming at a cost of being able to own or building new stratified units. That's socialism, folks. This is what they want. They want to keep you in the rental market. They don't want you owning a home. You've got too much freedom. They want you in that renter treadmill. And again, I talked about it. Nothing wrong with renting for a year or two. Well, you get your down payments together, or if you just move into the city, get acclimated, the neighborhoods, where you want to live, save your down payment, and then buy. Nothing wrong with renting for a year or two. But once you start renting at $3,000 a month, because that's what these rentals are going to be at, $2,800 a month for a 500 square foot unit with no parking, $4,200 for a small 785 square foot 2-bed. That's what these prices are. Market rental. Once you get in there for a while, as I said, it's like quicksand. You can't get out. You struggle and you just sink deeper and deeper into it. When you're paying 60%, 65% of your after-tax income is going to your rent. You need to be an owner. The toughest part, though, of course, is getting the down payment. Once you've got the 15 or 20% down, it's smooth sailing. Your cost to hold a home that you own isn't much more than what you're paying for rent and getting nothing back for. So here, very few people have this insight. This is why you'll never see this on the mainstream media. They're always a buck late and $5 short. But 5 to 10 years from now, they'll be telling you guys what I'm telling you now. What went wrong? What happened? Why are condo prices so expensive? Why is nothing for sale? It's only millionaires that can afford to buy a condo in Vancouver. And the rest, of course, are struggling renters paying, at that time, let's call it $4,000 a month for a 1-bed and can't get ahead. They're locked in there. They're in the quicksand. They can't get out now. They can't save the money for the down payment once you're in that renter treadmill. So I get these, I told you guys, these development permits come into my mailbox every single week. I get these, sometimes multiple, but every month I get 4 or 5 of these. One of the reasons I get so many, of course, is because I own properties in pretty much every neighborhood in and around downtown Vancouver. So I get all of these for the West End, Yaletown, central downtown Vancouver, crosstown area, downtown East Side rough area, Olympic Village, Mount Pleasant, and then I've got a bunch of stuff out in Richmond. So every month I'm getting these development permits, development rezoning applications. So here's another one that I just got. This is the final building to fall in the West End in the neighborhood I live in. This one is at 1090 Burnaby Street at Thurlow. This was going to be a 34-story stratified condo building, luxury. It wasn't going to be affordable. $1,700 a square foot for something on the Blow Alley, up to well over $2,000 a square foot for some of the southwest corner units with unobstructed water views. Those are well over $2,000 a square foot. So not affordable, but still something that people can move up to. This has now been converted to another rental-only building. 287 secured market rental units, 10% for social housing. I've done blogs on this before too. Some of these stratified condos in and around my area as well, they were going to be stratified, but they would have a 5%, 10% social housing component. I don't recommend you buy into those buildings. Go back and watch my blogs from years ago. I've been tracking these. These buildings that are a luxury building with a social housing component, they don't appreciate the same as a building that's 100% market condo. Keep that in mind. I'll have to do another update on that sometime maybe later this fall or the winter. So this is the last domino to fall in and around this area. So there was about 7 towers slated. So there was 2 at the corner of 2 at the corner of Harwood and Thurlow. Another one block in on Harwood Street. 2 at the corner of Burnaby and Thurlow. And then there was a couple more down at Thurlow and Barclay. But all the ones in and around Burnaby and Harwood Street, that was 5 towers, all strata have now all been converted. This is the last one, has now gone to rental. So there was approximately, 1,500 condo units that are now not being built. So listen, nothing wrong again with building more rental stock, even though it's market rental and these buildings are going to be a zoo, and it's like getting into quicksand. They're enabling you is what they're doing to keep you in that renter treadmill. But it's coming at a cost of building condos, and that's the point I'm trying to pound home to you guys. If any of you guys have ever been to Toastmasters or to public speaking courses, they'll tell you, one of the first things they tell you is you got to read the room. Read the room that you're doing your speech into. Well, I don't have a crystal ball, but I can read the room. The room is telling me now that they are not building, or very few new stratified condo are going to come online, even though they were all going to be luxury anyways, weren't going to be affordable for most people. Millionaires and multi-millionaires only, like myself, who are going to be interested in these. But there's a lot of us out there. There is in Vancouver. But the point I'm making is that the people living in a $1,000 a square foot, a $1,200, a $1,300 a square foot condo, these are the things that these people move up into and then sell their lower price condos. This is going to put the freeze on all of that, which is just in turn going to spike the prices up of condos moving forward, the small bit of tangible product we still have, and keep more and more people in that renter treadmill for life. So the mainstream media doesn't talk about this. But you guys watch, 10 years from now, the headlines are going to be downtown Vancouver, what went wrong, it's all for millionaires, it's a millionaire's paradise. Or you're a renter and you're struggling. You're just barely getting by. And you're living 3 to a 1 bedroom, 3 to a 2 bed, sharing rent, or living in an old dilapidated building in the West End. That's the way it's going, because nothing wrong with building rentals, but it's coming at the cost of scrapping all the stratified condo coming online. So and what I'm telling you, this is your warning here. All is not lost. This is what I've been pounding home here. For you young people, get that down payment together. Your window is closing, and with governments like the NDP, it's socialist governments, it is closing much quicker. This is accelerated threefold in the last couple of years under the NDP, because they don't want you owning homes. I know they tell you that they want homes affordable for everyone, and everyone should have a detached house with a white picket fence and all that other stuff. I know most people don't believe it. It's a lie. What they are going to do, though, is, hey, we'll keep it going here. We'll enable you like they're a drug dealer, build you some market rental housing to keep you in that quicksand. And it's coming at the cost of home ownership. Home ownership should be at the top of your priority list. If you haven't bought a home yet, and that doesn't have to be $1 million condo in downtown Vancouver, start with a $350,000, a $400,000 wood frame on SkyTrain in Richmond or Burnaby or New Westminster, and go from there. At least you're in the market, you're out of that renter treadmill, paying $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a month for nothing, getting nothing back for it, and living like a gypsy. So this is the warning call. This is stuff you're not going to hear on the news until it's too late. And I've been pounding this home now for a few years, but I've really been pounding it home now on what's going on with these rezoning applications, because at least, sure, we were building rental stock, the few things that we were building, but we were building condo. 6 buildings in my neighborhood now, 6 towers ranging from 34 to 41 stories. All of them are scrapped. They've all gone from condo to rental buildings. So that's going to be the price. Remember, I always say that there's always a reaction to every tax and every restriction that the NDP never will tell you about. There's always a reaction to these things. Hey, we're going to build more rental housing. Sounds good, great, I'm all for it. What they don't tell you, though, is that we're not going to build any more condos, stratified. So we're going to keep you out of ownership, which is where you need to be to get ahead in life, and enable you by keeping you in those $3,000 a month, 500 square foot condos in these zoo rental only buildings, which is what they are. Even the newer ones, if you want to rent a condo, if you're coming into the city here, don't rent in one of these rental only buildings. Sometimes that's all you can get, of course, but do a little more planning and try and rent a condo in a stratified condo from a mom and pop investor like myself, landlord. So you'll see where this goes. I might do a few more of these over time, but nothing is really getting built here as far as condos now, guys. It's all on hold, or at least most of it is. There'll be a few luxury towers with that absorption rate that I've talked about that'll come online. But Again, this was going to make it very difficult for people to move up down the road. This final stat here, I just saw in the Wall Street Journal today, this is the reason why these markets have held up so well when we've had 9 interest rate hikes. Nobody thought this would happen, even myself, with the amount of hikes we've had. The reason is because there's nothing for sale. Just saw on the front page of the Wall Street Journal, according to Redfin down in the United States, homes for sale listed in the United States nationwide are the lowest in history. Now, I think they're basing this, of course, on population growth. Of course, there's a lot more homes now built than there were 10 or 15 years ago. I would say that that stat is probably the same thing here. We are way below our 10-year average on inventory here and have been now for a while since COVID. But I bet if you, I don't think we've ever done a stat like this, but of course, there's a lot more homes in Vancouver now than there were 10 years ago or 15 years ago. Look at the downtown core alone. We've built probably 10 or 15,000 condos here in the last 15 years. But I would say that if you put that a stat in conjunction with population or potential buyer pool versus how many homes are for sale, I bet we're at an all-time historic low for inventory and for homes for sale. That is not going to get any better. Not when you've got people moving into the city every year, 30, 40,000 a year coming in. We're going to build some rental stock for you guys, but we're not building any more condos. You do the math and what's going to happen to the existing inventory over the next 5, 10, 15 years. It's not too late, guys. This is your wake-up call. Get that down payment funds ready. If you want to be a homeowner, which you want to be if you're going to live here, then you got to get into home ownership, but your window's closing quick. I'm Owen Bigland. As always, thanks for watching. I'll see you next week.